Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 1st of February, comes to you from London. And we see quite a lot of green on the screen this morning. Bitcoin up nearly 4%. The big move is silver, the Reddit brigade having an effect there. That's up 10%. We'll take a look at that when we get there. But first of all, starting off with currencies, the dollar looking stronger again on the short-term chart. Medium and long-term still bearish. If we look at that euro-dollar chart, because of that stronger dollar, euro looking a little bit weaker short term and just rolling over a little bit, but the long-term picture is still pretty bullish. Sterling is actually up against the US dollar this morning at 137.25. That uptrend continuing. These targets 139 are what we're expecting to see there on sterling, so that will be interesting. And against the euro, we're seeing strength here as well, 113.50. That's the breakout that we've been talking about. So sterling now breaking higher, multi-month highs here, so that's really significant. We've got targets to 116.80, so 120. So we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence on sterling there, so that will be really interesting to watch. The Bitcoin chart it found a floor at $30,000. We do still have these $20,000, $24,000 targets hanging over us. So if we fall through 30, that's where we expect to go. There does seem to be support at 30,000, and we do have this new upside target taking us to 36,000. Not, of course, taking us to new highs, which would deactivate the downside target. So keep an eye on that. If you're trading Bitcoin, the 1-minute charts are going to be vital to you. We did see a fall away on the US market last week. The S&P 500 index down nearly 2% on Friday. That's the lower low that we talked about. Remember, this cloud chart is actually at its lowest level that we've seen now in several weeks here, and the fact that we're breaking that is a sign of that short-term bearish trend. We've crossed through the cloud. There's the lower high, and then we broke the low, a lower low. That is bearish. That's activated a downside target 4% lower on the S&P. The long-term picture is still bullish, of course, but that is a factor that we did see that sell off on Friday. The Nasdaq also turning bearish on that short-term chart. The structure there not quite as clear on the lower high, lower low in the Dow theory. Looking at the Dow, we're up 0.7 on Friday. Defensive's having a play there, so we're seeing the Dow Jones performing better because there's more defensive stocks in there. Tech stocks were hit more badly, so that is quite key. Taking a look at the future on the E-mini, we're seeing that's up nearly 1% today, and also the Nasdaq up nearly 1% as well. So markets looking more cheerful as a start to the week, but we can't ignore the fact that we did see that sell-off on Friday. The VIX volatility did actually get back to that level, and we have this massive upside potential of 110. That's a record high on the VIX. So we are still on tender hooks. If we see a new high in the VIX, let's say above 40, that's going to be really significant on that daily chart, and really above 38. We're back to 31 on the VIX, so at the moment the markets the sentiment is a little bit better than it was at the end of last week. The FTSE future up 0.8%. The DAX cash market in Germany up 1.3%. We did see that sell off again. We are still in short-term bearish territory despite this move this morning. So all eyes will be on what those US charts do. The CAC Quarant up 1%. Still a long way from making a new high on that weekly chart. Taking a look at Japan, we were up 1% there. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong was up 2%. Still seeing bearish trends though on these charts, and the Shanghai Composite was also lower. The Indian market had a real surge, and so we're seeing there that's looking much stronger. So big surge there in the Sensex, and the Aussie market was up just under 1% as well. So that's quite key. Taking a look to gold now, gold is up 1%, sitting at 1861. That's the highest level we've seen for a little while. So that's quite key. Friday we did get to 1870. So we are just seeing gold starting to look a little bit more positive. But of course the big move this morning is in silver, up 10%. Private investors pushing this up as their next target against the hedge funds. But to be honest, silver has had this upside target for some time to 34.55. And that's been sitting there really since November. So we've had that target in place. That's where we're going. There's a little bit of a shortage of short-term targets. So just take a look at the at your shorter-term charts. And if we just go down to the 0.1%, we had 29 as the target. That's kind of where we've gone. So that's really quite key. That target has been exceeded. We have to wait for a pullback and see if we get any new targets. Copper is up 0.27%, and US 10-year yields, it's down 2.7% in copper. US 10-year yields sitting at 108. So we are seeing that trend, that uptrend in 10-year yields still continuing after a bit of a fallback last week back to 1%. We're back at 108. So we're seeing quite big moves there in the bond market with the Fed. Taking a look at the energy mix, mostly down this morning. We are seeing crude oil looking a little bit higher, but we are pretty range bound on crude. That was our call to clients this morning. And we are seeing also on WTI, we're seeing that as well. So that range bound having an effect. US nat gas, we're seeing here also just breaking lower on the cloud as well. Coal is down 1.2%, so that's looking a little bit lower. And emissions, we're just really waiting for the break at the moment. So a big sideways triangle there. We do have a downside target, but we've gone neutral on emissions. MBP not looking so good this morning, and TTF actually down 5.8%, but we need a fall through 17 to be completely bearish, so that's quite key. A move above 21 would be bullish, so we're very much in that range. Looking at the seasonal contract, much the same picture here, so that's quite key as well. German power down nearly 1%. Again, we're waiting for the break. Very much this sideways triangle here, and we're really waiting to see the break out of that move. Will we go up or down? We tend to have downside targets here on that 1 minute chart. That's the thing to watch. And we are seeing on the daily chart here a little bit of a break of this trend running out of steam. So if we break lower than that level that we saw on the 18th of January, around 47.90, that would be like a double top for German power. That would be bearish, so we need to watch that. The one standout this morning is Nordic power. That's looking to break higher. That trend looking quite good, and we have got upside targets here. So Nordic power is the standout, just breaking through the trend. Of course, if we see a big sell-off in German power, that might weigh heavily there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.